Good evening. My name is Tom Noonan. I'm a local pub owner like many others in Melbourne CBD. And I'm here to present my case on why I believe the 3am lockout law in Melbourne CBD clubs and bars is unfair. The conversation of drinking lockout laws has become a prominent issue within the Melbourne community recently, with more underage clubbing and binge drinking events occurring. Though I'm here to enforce the point that 3am lockout law is not required here in Melbourne, as it's already safe. Furthermore, the most livable city in the world by the ERU in 2014. The current 3am lockout laws is bad for businesses like clubs and bars predominantly in Melbourne CBD, where their peak sale rate would be around 12 to 5am, when people are out on weekends. This can directly relate towards income determinants, where people working in this industry are unable to reach their peak sale income as people are required to leave at 3am. How is it fair for businesses such as cafes to be able to open during their peak income hours around the afternoon where people would like to get lunch, though clubs and bars are not allowed to open during their optimal sales time? Furthermore, people on staff may not be working enough hours and do not operate in mornings and afternoons. With these lockout law boundaries, clubs and bars are greatly restricted in their ability to give solid income to workers, as they cannot work greater hours as they would have to close at 3am. Clubs and bars will only work a large staff between busy hours, around 11 to 3. That's only 4 hours work for employees. Simply not enough income for people who are working in the industry for them to purchase necessities in life, such as food and gas, water and power. This can relate back to the income determinant I mentioned earlier. I would also like to present the argument of how not everyone binge drinks and how it is unfair towards others who just want to go out with friends and have a good time after a long week at work. Why is it fair for the occasional public intoxication from an individual who is unable to drink responsibly, allowed to ruin it for the people who do drink responsibly? Going out on these weekends is a great way for people to lower their stress levels. This can greatly assist their overall health. Stress levels can directly relate towards many other key health issues, especially mental health, by being with a strong social friendship network any time of the day can promote this good mental health. The Australian Stress and Wellbeing Survey of 2014 showed that 34% of all stress-related issues come from the workplace. This stress can be taken away from Australian workers blowing off some steam on weekends, but with this lockout law, this isn't fully available.
Hi, my name is Ann-Maree. I currently work for Drinkwise and have been working there for the past 8 years. Today I'm here to debate against the topic that 3am lockout laws are unfair. There's no doubt about it, Australia has a serious drinking problem. Not only are the effects of alcohol consumption harmful to the individual, it also affects the people around them. We all know the facts: cardiovascular disease, cancers, diabetes, obesity, liver disease, mental illness, self-harm, the list goes on and on. Yet why do we all continue to drink and at such excessive levels? In Australia from 2013 to 14, the Australian Bureau of Statistics reported that 183.7 million litres of pure alcohol were available for consumption. And based on figures presented by Vic Health in 2010, alcohol kills 15 Australians every day, 5,554 each year, and is accountable for nearly 160,000 hospital admissions each year. The figures are concerning and at such high rates, yet we find ourselves asking the same question again: why? It comes down to our drinking culture, where people in Australia drink to get drunk and seem to disregard the negative effects because of the common good and happy feelings associated with the consumption of alcoholic beverages. Alcohol consumption at high levels is a substantial risk factor for violence. Based on the National Drug Strategy Household Survey in 2007, 1 in 4 Australians reported that they were victim to verbal abuse, and 4.5% of Australians aged over 14 have been subjected to physical abuse by another under the influence of alcohol. Of those that had been subjected to the abuse, 1/3 had also been under the influence of alcohol at the time. Given these significant statistics, it is clear that Australia needs to take further action, and the 3am lockout laws are the best solution.
You mentioned that further lockout laws need to be enforced in Melbourne. How are business owners such as myself meant to make a living and promote our business if lockout laws are lowered further to 1 or even 12am? This would ultimately anger more people of the public who find themselves unable to enjoy a drink in one of the greatest cities of the world. Amsterdam is ranked 58th in the world in relation to crime rate against other capital cities of the world. This is very low in comparison to the United States, who are ranked 30th, considering that Amsterdam is known for legalizing cannabis and having no lockout law restrictions. I'm talking about these countries because Australia is ranked 47th in the world in relation to crime rate. This is with lockout laws already enforced. These statistics are prominent because of a recent study that occurred in London in relation to lockout laws. London trialled similar lockout laws to Amsterdam in an attempt to lower their high crime rate. Their Metropolitan Police found a 27% drop in alcohol-related violence and theft in the city's West End over the last year thanks to groundbreaking specialist policing project aimed at working closely with local pub, club and business owners. This is evidence that not having lockout laws works. As more people become less angry that they are forced to cut their nights short, they are also under no pressure to drink faster than they normally would. You mentioned that Australia has a serious drinking problem, though alcohol-related death is not even in the top 5 leading causes of death in Australia, with cardiovascular disease, dementia and Alzheimer's disease, and lung cancer, all far more important issues than lockout laws in Melbourne. Furthermore, people may think of other distractions if they are unable to drink alcohol when they wish at a club or pub venue. These distractions can lead to drug use or violence. These are likely to increase if the current lockout laws are lowered even further. Crime rate would simply rise. The general public deserves to have a night out with friends and drink safely in a pub or club venue where security is present. A safer way to consume alcohol than drinking in public because of lockout laws, where people can become a risk to the community. So in conclusion, having a 3 a.m. lockout law or even to have it lowered is ridiculous. Business owners such as myself in the club or pub industry don't wish to raise prices on entry or on alcohol in order for us to break even or pay our employees accordingly. Also, not everyone binge drinks, and how is it fair towards others who just hang out with friends to have a good time after a long week at work? The danger of increased stress levels I mentioned earlier is also important, and the danger of lockout laws leading to other distractions for people who spend their nights as an increase in drug and potential violence. Thank you.
In Tom's first argument, he mentioned that Melbourne is safe and the most livable city in the world. It may be true that a part of this is because of our night culture, but it is in no way safe. As I mentioned in my first argument, alcohol is accountable for nearly 160,000 hospital admissions a year. This is a hard figure to overlook, not to mention the burden that this is putting on our healthcare system. I can understand why Tom is concerned over loss of business, and yes, it is going to affect employees in this line of work. However, I think that the drinking culture of Australians is bigger and more important issue at this point in time. There are also many other ways of getting people in the doors of his pub, to increase sales earlier in the night before the 3 a.m. lockout. Some of these examples are open mic nights, live music, themed nights, trivia nights and meal deals. Tom also brought up the fact that not everyone binge drinks, and the new laws proposed exclude these individuals from having a good time. However, in most cases, people that do not drink to those excessive levels tend to go home before the early hours anyway. The best interest of the law is to protect people, and for the individuals who have not been drinking or drink responsibly but are around the intoxicated people in the early hours are subject to abuse and violence, so if the law is introduced, they are only going to be more safe. To the point that the lockout law prevents workers from having fun and lowering their stress levels on weekends, there are many better and safer ways to do this. Exercise and team sports are excellent examples and can be done just as easily with the same mates you would usually party with. Despite the negative reaction from the public over the lockout laws, they have been trialled and proven to be successful. In 2014, New South Wales introduced lockout laws in Sydney CBD Entertainment Precinct and King's Cross Precinct, where 1:30 a.m. lockouts are now in place, with 3 a.m. last drinks. Since this, assaults in King Cross are down by 32% and 26% in Sydney CBD. The facts are there, the lockout laws are needed. Thank you for listening.